Lord, make us instruments of your peace.
Where there is hatred, let us sow love.
Where there is injury, pardon.
Where there is doubt,
faith. Where there is despair, hope.
Where there is darkness,
light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master,
grant that we may not so much seek
to be consoled as to console,
to be understood as to understand,
to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive,
it is in pardoning that we are pardoned,
and it is in dying
that we are born to eternal life.
Amen.
WESN.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Warner Group civil case sees delays over witness and procedural issues. Man sentenced to death for 2009 murder in Port of Spain. Police constable charged in Barrack for armed robbery. And internationally, U.S. deadline for aid increased to Gaza missed. UN warns of crisis. Now for the details. Yes. In the ongoing civil case involving the Warner Group of companies owned by Alan Walker, a November 11th hearing revealed disputes over the qualifications of a proposed expert witness. Attorneys for the state also reported difficulties in securing a witness affidavit from the Environmental Management Authority. Justice Frank C. Prasad adjourned the case to January 14, 2025, pending a procedural appeal on November 25th that could impact the case's direction. The Warner Group of companies and several individuals are challenging a prior judge's decision not to order police to return equipment seized in an illegal quarrying investigation. Justice C. Prasad has ordered a witness summary for the EMA official and approved the expert witness despite objection. Shervan Tucson, also known as Tallman or Buddies, was sentenced to death on November 11th for the 2009 murder of Michael Boy Mader. Justice Lisa Ramsumir-Hines found Tucson guilty of murder and firearms charges in a judge-only trial. The conviction relied heavily on eyewitness Sparkle Williams, who recounted seeing Tucson shoot Mader after a confrontation on Oxford Street in Port of Spain. The judge ruled Williams' testimony credible despite some inconsistencies, dismissing the defense's claims of mistaken identity and fabrication. Ramsumir-Hines stated there was no evidence linking Mader's death to gang activity. A 20-year-old police constable, Anthony Sahadeo, has been charged with robbery with aggravation in connection with an October 30th armed robbery in Barrackpore. Sahadeo, assigned to the Perdale Larceny Squad in Princestown, allegedly took part in a home invasion where $15,000 and jewelry was stolen. Authorities linked him to the crime through fingerprints on a knife dropped at the scene. Sahadeo turned himself in on November 6th and will appear in the South Criminal High Court on November 12th. No other suspects have been arrested. Internationally, the UN aid agency in Gaza says Israel has missed a U.S. deadline to allow more aid trucks into Gaza or face reduced U.S. military support. Despite U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's call for at least 350 aid trucks daily, Gaza has seen an average of only 40 trucks per day. UN officials report severe shortages, with residents struggling for basic necessities, while Israel claims it has opened more crossings and blames aid agencies for distribution issues. The UN insists it needs Israel's cooperation to ensure aid reaches those in need amidst ongoing conflicts. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for watching.
WESN.
Bring the magic of Christmas home with WESN's Joy of Christmas. Relive timeless classics from the laughter to the heartwarming moments that make the season unforgettable.
Hey, light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat!
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh my God!
Whoa!
Oh, poor baby.
Experience the joy of WESN special productions, crafted to bring you new stories and cherished memories. This year, let WESN bring the joy of Christmas to your home.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Catch the spirit, catch the joy.
Anchors away. May the force be with you.
Only on WESN, your content capital.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus. Quality you trust, prices you'll love. Visit one of our locations or find us online to start transforming your home today.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
WESN.
Hello there, and welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of the program. Well, it's getting into that spirit season, the season of the holidays, of which we all look forward to, at least I look forward to, the merriment and the jolliness, of course, but also the fact that the sun rises a bit later than usual and sets a lot earlier than usual, so all that associated with winter months or winter weather, as they say. And yesterday we experienced heavy rainfall. Pity it wasn't snow, was it? But we understand that there were parts of Trinidad, both east, central, and south, that experienced flash flooding. No reports of significant damage as yet. But of course, we're keeping an eye out on that. The weather forecast suggests it's going to be the same or at least similar today. So we hope that if there's rain, it's always a good thing. If there is heavy rain, well, keep your fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. But that's a story for a different time. We're focusing on crime this morning on AM Prime, particularly the crime of extortion. Did you know that the term extortion does not exist in our legal book in Trinidad and Tobago? Yeah, well, that's something that is rather interesting. In fact, it's actually something entirely different to extortion in terms of the terminology that exists, yet the law still applies to extortioners. Now, I tell you that because that's the first conversation that we're having this morning. The efforts on the part of the Ministry of National Security to deal with extortion. And recently, the minister in the Ministry of National Security, whose responsibility lies for the TTPS, that's Keith Scotland, did a walkabout in Shogunas. In fact, it was one of a series of 4. There was a level of dissatisfaction, though, particularly from the mayor of Shogunas, His Worship Faith Mohammed. Let's get into that conversation now as I welcome him to the program. Good morning, Your Worship, and welcome to AM Prime.
Good morning.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Mr. Mohammed, your dissatisfaction, it stems exactly from what, given that the Minister of National Security did a series of walkabouts in Shogunas in relation to showing that we are out and about and we are here to help businesses, help the people of Shogunas deal with this crime that is rampaging in the borough.
So what I was highlighting, the minister came to Shogunas, and what he did, when you look at the reports of extortion that is taking place within Shogunas, the central region, he launched an anti-extortion initiative downtown Shogunas, basically in the Shogunas market, right? Where there's little to no reports of extortion taking place within that area. You should have taken these resources to the areas that really needed it. Also, another issue that we haven't, he should have take the opportunity while he was in Shogunas to see the working conditions that these police officers are working in the 3 police stations there are in Shogunas area. How could you expect the officers to perform at optimum level, right, when their working conditions are substandard? And these are the things that I was having an issue with.
Have you since expressed this directly to the minister? Because though I understand that you actually shared your number publicly and said give you a call the next time he's in Shogunas, by extension, have you made these reports or this level of dissatisfaction known to him personally?
So, you know what the minister said to a member of the media who asked him, why isn't the mayor here? The mayor has my number, he can call me. Well, now the minister has my number, he can call me.
Do you think this is going to be a back and forth tit for tat?
No, I don't see this being a back and forth tit for tat. I'm just saying that I think that if we are doing something and we are serious about extortion, we should put our resources in the areas that are really needed. You will hear from time to time, everyone is clamoring. Our resources are limited. We don't have. When we are doing something, let us do it properly. So if we have an anti-extortion initiative taking place, let us go to the areas of concern firstly. Not just parade downtown Shogunas because we need a proper photo. Let us go to the areas of concern.
Do you think, though, that the walkabout was indicative of the areas that are going to be most impacted by these police patrols, or do you think that this was just...
That is something, exactly, that on Sunday I did a press conference, and that is something that I want to know from the minister. Let us, well, at least Saturday I didn't see any joint patrol. On Sunday, I heard of no joint patrol within the area. And I traversed the area looking for these joint patrol, and I saw none. And that was very concerning because I don't know when, where, how frequent these, because this is what I read, this is part 1 of the initiative, but I'm not seeing this joint patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So no. This is something I would like, if it's one thing that has to be addressed, something like this has to be addressed, maybe not publicly, but email to state, well, listen, there is going to be joint patrol in these areas, I'm fine with that because I know some plans have to be kept confidential. But since Friday, I haven't seen any joint patrol within the area, or especially areas of concern.
Mm-hmm. And have you, as mayor, had the opportunity to speak to the TTPS Central Division? Have you also?
I am in constant communication with TTPS Central Division. We actually had a meeting last 2 weeks, where we were discussing how we will deal with the crime situation coming up to the Christmas period here. As we know, there will be an increase in economic activity. So we made some plans pertaining to that. We are always in communication. That's why I can tell you, I was really hoping that since this minister is the minister who is responsible for the TTPS or the police service, would have taken that opportunity to walk through these 3 police stations they are in Chaguanas, because you should see the state of these police stations.
So is it that you're making the point, you're arguing that the Shigona stations that exist within the Shigona borough are ill-equipped to actually deal with crime and criminal activity as a whole? They're ill-equipped to actually police the borough of Shigonas.
Correct. They need proper facilities, proper technology. The criminal elements now in Trinidad and Tobago, they are very organized and very sophisticated. Again, while we have an extortion unit, I must ask the question, are they properly staffed? Are they properly resourced with the latest technology in crime detection, crime prevention? You know, these are the questions that needs to be answered. Maybe not by us, but sorry, not by me, but the minister needs to answer these questions. That because we need to know if you have a nice name, anti-extortion bureau. I could have 2 officers working there, but that's what I'm saying. We need to know if they are properly staffed. We need to know if they have the properly resourced as well. Otherwise, we are basically spinning top in mud.
Your questions are relevant, and no doubt that your questions are relevant, but do you think that you are perhaps pushing a narrative that will demoralize the efforts that are existing and the efforts that are being made?
No. If I'm making a call, I am actually making a call for this to happen. I'm not demoralizing anyone. I am basically saying that ensure that the special unit, they have the proper resources needed to function at optimum level, or as a matter of fact, the entire police service. Many times you would call, and I don't know if this ever happened to you, but I've been in many community meetings. You would call for police. When you call for them, no, we don't have a vehicle right now to respond. How will you feel as a person, as a citizen hearing that? This is the situation happening right now in this country with the police service, and you have a special unit to deal with extortion. You know what will happen if you call the extortion unit and they will tell you the same thing? I'm just saying, these are the things that we need to make sure we have done properly. We need to have these things done properly. We need to actually, another issue that we have in this country, even businessmen, they are skeptical to report any extortion activities. The reason being, one, and it's not about fake police, we are seeing that some of the real police are involved in criminal activity, and there are many cases of this, right? So that brings us to a bigger problem, that there are corrupt police within the TTPS, and that needs to be weeded out as soon as possible as well. So this is another task that has to be done by the minister, and something that he needs to look seriously into, because it's eroding the confidence and the trust that the public has in the TTPS.
So again, your points are valid, but I come back to the point. Have you been able to actually seek that conversation with the minister? Have you reached out to the minister? Or have you sought any answers to the questions that you posed this morning?
Well, the minister will definitely hear my plea, and he will respond. If he doesn't, I'll put pen to paper and send him a letter, ask him I'll invite him to come to Shogunas and have some discussions with him, definitely.
do you think that possibly should have been the first point or the first option?
Well, I'll let you know this, right? In I'll just let you know something, how I find the ministers within this government operate. So I'm doing an example for you. In when it was 2019, I wrote a letter to the Minister of Works asking him to visit Shogunas, right? Since 2019, we are in 2024, I haven't received a response from the minister yet. And then they will criticize me for why don't I reach out to the ministers? To date, every time you email certain ministers within this government, you get no response via email. You deliver messages, you get no response.
Of course, that suggests that you have lost confidence in reaching out to any minister because of that.
All right.
So what is the solution to what seems to be an impasse between the Borough of Shogunas, at least the council in charge, and by extension the government and government ministers?
We will do what we need to do in Shogunas. We will apply the political pressure or the pressure needed, because we will always fight for the Burgesses of Shogunas. That is all we are doing now, fighting for the Burgesses of Shogunas. And we are elected to represent them, and we will always do that in their best interest.
What have businessmen told you, though, in relation to the issue of extortion in Shogunas? What have they reported to you?
Well, there are two incidents of that I'll tell you two different stories, right? One person said that when they came to him, they were able to tell him his family whereabouts and even let him know the balance in his bank account, right? This is how scary it is. And remember, I'm telling you how organized these extortionists are. Another one said they called him. They even were so brave to call him on a video call, right? And he basically tell them, no, he's not going to pay anything, and he will face whatever consequences. But he resent that threat to them. So that is the situation that I just give you two examples of how two businessmen approached it. One is very skeptical in terms of how he would, if he's going to pay because he has his family. And the other one, I don't think he has a family, so he's willing to go the distance with them.
And particularly, I know that you showed a map on Sunday at the press conference indicating the areas that are most affected by extortion. But, for the sake of the viewers this morning, could you please, reiterate exactly what areas in Shogunas are being most affected by extortionists?
So the areas of concern, the major areas of concern, is the Cunupia, Montrose area, and just on the outskirts of those areas. That will fall just on the outside of Shogunas into the TPRC area. That's the St. Helena area, Kelly Village area. So along that stretch of the southern main road, that's the major areas of concern right now within Shogunas.
In that respect, are there any plans that are in place that you're aware of, or any efforts actually being made to deal with this situation that you are aware of?
Well, as far, not on my end, but the minister indicated that there will be joint patrol, army and police patrol within those areas, and I have yet to see it just yet.
The Shogunas Chamber of Commerce, have they met with you, and have they shared any thoughts, ideas, or plans?
Since this incident took place with the minister, the president is out of the country at this point in time, but as soon as he gets in, we actually have a meeting scheduled for us to talk about it.
He has expressed on behalf of the chamber that they are pleased with the response from the minister in the ministry, Keith Scotland. So again, I raise that point to say there seems to be quite a disconnect between the borough and the minister in dealing with this issue. Do you think that's only going to exacerbate the problem even further?
So let me raise this point for you now, right? Since you're asking me this question, extortion, did it just start in Trinidad and Tobago. This has been going on for some time now, right? Extortion. You've been hearing it for some years now, especially within the Kelly, St. Helena area. How long did it take TTPS or this government, sorry, this minister or he's new. How long did it take the Minister of National Security to come up with an extortion unit? We allow this cancer to grow. We are at the 11th hour of an election, right? That is why you are seeing ministers starting to become active pertaining to this issue. They are basically going to try to put on a cape and play the hero at this point in time. That is what you are seeing happening here.
That's okay, Mayor. But in response to that, I understand your frustrations. I know all of TNT is frustrated. We all live in a sense of fear when it comes to crime. So it is very much understood your frustrations, particularly with the fact that you have responsibility over an entire borough and ensuring the best for that borough in particular. But where do we get to a point where there can be meaningful collaboration to try and deal with this issue? From your standpoint, what do you think is necessary or what do you think is needed to actually have collaboration that can help in all efforts, ensure all efforts are there to deal with this issue?
No, as I said, the persons to really deal with this issue will be the minister, the TTPS. They have their task force, their anti-extortion task force. I think that task force just needs to be resourced and staffed properly. I'll keep saying that because they are the one responsible. And the only way for you to work efficiently in your job is once you have the proper tools of trade and just ensure that they have that, the proper tools of their trade. So once that is done, and it's not just talk at the minister, because as I said, it's just the timing of this whole unit it's funny because extortion have been out a while. So if we can see some meaningful change when it comes to extortion. We had one arrest recently, charges being laid against someone from Central. So we hope to see more of this taking place. If we are not seeing more arrests or apprehension taking place, then that will further erode confidence within this unit. But to arrest or to make arrests, we need to have people coming forward. Again, people will come forward if they have that faith and confidence. So this is a big task. It's honestly a big task, and I hope there are ways and methods the minister and the commissioner of police that try to address some of the problems. As again I said, the only way I'll come forward is if I cannot trust when I make a report, it is anonymous. Because to really go after extortionists, you need a report. But how could I report something if I don't know for sure that it will be anonymous or I will be protected, right? You would love to call for businessmen to stand up and be brave, right? But how would you want them to do that when their life is on the line, their family life is on the line? How could you do that when, as I said before, these extortionists know your whereabouts, your bank account, everything. There's a thin line between bravery and stupidity for businessmen, you might want to be brave and say, I'm going to report these extortionists, or I'm going to be brave to say no. But by doing that, you put yourself at risk and you put your family at risk. And the only way to do that, as I said, and I agree with you, we need to have a collaborative effort. Everyone needs to be on the same page. And I think the minister could come forward, have a discussion with all stakeholders involved, not just go on parade, but because we need to have that confidence rebuilt within the force.
Well, Your Worship, in closing, what would be your advice to the businessmen and businesswomen of Chaguanas in dealing with this particular issue, knowing that there is a lack of confidence in the TTPS? Would you still encourage them to go forward with their reports?
I would honestly love, we have a task force. I would honestly encourage persons to make the reports because there's a saying, don't negotiate with terrorists. Right. Well, I don't think we should start to encourage negotiations with extortionists. I could understand that, it's easier said than done. But conversations need to start to happen. And, maybe part of this initiative, I'm just saying, go door to door to businessmen that are really affected, gain that trust and confidence, and you would see more and more will come forward. And I hope that you can see more of that happening. But, it's a really sad situation that this country is in. We allow this cancer of extortion to grow to probably stage 5, and now we're trying to cut it out. So I really hope that we can stop this, because it's going to close down businesses, and there's going to be a ripple effect, because some businesses, they hire 20, 50, 40 people, right? And you're talking about people who will be on the breadline, because if I'm caught between a rock and a hard place as a business person, meaning that if I don't pay, I'll end up dead. If I pay, I'll become broke eventually. So there's no sense. So what I'll do, I'll move out of the country, basically. And we have been seeing that. I can tell you, there's one business person I know of personally that already migrated because of the threat of extortion. And there's another businessman, he's actually migrated, but for another crime situation, a home invasion. It basically rocked his household, his peace of mind, his children can't sleep well, nothing. And he said he has to start over fresh, and he's on making arrangements to migrate. So this is how the crime situation, what it's doing to law-abiding citizens within this country, is basically eroding society.
As I said, we all live in a sense of fear. But Your Worship, thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning, and thank you for the time and expressing your views of this particular issue. And we do hope that there is some positive outcome at the end of the day. So all the very best to you and your continued efforts in dealing with this problem.
Thank you.
Take care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do understand the frustration expressed by His Worship Mayor Faik Mohammed of Chaguanas in relation to the issue of extortion. It is affecting Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, but there are particular parts that are seeing more of an impact by the criminal elements. At the end of the day, it is disheartening, it is frustrating, it is angering. But this is what my whole point from the interview was. There needs to be some middle ground where we are able to find level heads in dealing with this situation. The politicization of crime in TNT is part of the problem. It exacerbates a situation that is already affecting everyone. So there will be strained relationships between political institutions all the time. But I do hope that there is middle ground between the mayor and, by extension, the minister and the Minister of National Security to try and deal with this issue. And I hope that that middle ground is found very soon. I don't think that these warring heads are going to help the situation at all. Though I understand the frustration, and though I also recognize that there are some efforts that are being implemented, it's not necessarily fruitful if all those involved trying to deal with the situation can't see eye to eye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break here on the program, and when we return, part 2 to this conversation. We'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private healthcare affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios. But they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus. Quality you trust, prices you'll love. Visit one of our locations or find us online to start transforming your home today.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us this morning as we continue with the conversation. I now welcome to the program the Minister in the Ministry of National Security with responsibility in particular for the TTPS, Mr. Keith Scotland. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for having me on the program this morning.
Well, Minister, you've spoken of plans in place to deal with extortion. We've seen walkabout. We've seen those efforts in relation to hinting at joint patrols. What are the other plans that are currently in place? What are the plans that exist to deal with this situation that seems to be getting out of hand?
Well, firstly, the statistics do not really bear that out. That's the first point. And secondly, the essence or the only way to combat demanding by menaces, which is otherwise known as extortion, is if the victims report it, because that certainly is one of the crimes where you need the report from the potential victim or the victim in order for the police to act. What has been done is that there has been established a particular unit to deal with this issue of demanding by menaces. And that unit, I want to assure the public, has been properly vetted. It has been properly researched, the members of that team, and in those circumstances, the public can be assured that the head of the unit, ACP Richard Smith, has a cadre of officers, some 12 to 14 officers with him, who will be able to respond confidentially and very swiftly to any reports of extortion. So the first port of call is to report it, because if it is not reported, then the police cannot act.
In respect to the staffing and the equipping of that particular unit, is it fully staffed and fully equipped to where it should be to deal with the situation?
It is fully staffed and fully equipped and available 24/7.
Now, moving forward with this particular conversation in respect to the plans that exist, and one of the issues that you just mentioned is that reports need to be made. There's been a constant expression of fear of having to report to the police due to the potential involvement of rogue police officers in the crime of extortion. When you first entered office as minister in the Ministry of National Security, you spoke of your desire to raise public trust and confidence in the TTPS, which was 8% in January of this year. Since your time in office, what efforts have you done to raise that level of confidence? And do you think that the public has responded well to those efforts to raise public trust and confidence in the TTPS?
The issue of public trust and confidence and improving it is an ongoing exercise. I will give one example, and that example should bear out all the constituents. Yes, there is this feeling by the public, and the statistics bear it out, that there was, since last year, and I remember as part of the JSC for national security, that there was not a very high level and percentage of public confidence. What has happened is that there has been, so let me use the example of the extortion unit. That unit is a special unit, established with only 12 to 14 members with a head. There's a hotline that people can call, and that hotline is attached to that unit alone. We say that that in and of itself is one cog in the wheel that will try, and that has been established by the TTPS, to ensure that the police and the public can have that mutual confidence. In other words, when it is reported, it's confidential. When it is reported, it is acted on in a swift manner. So that is just one aspect. The other aspect is also the visibility of the police in all districts, all 10 divisions in Trinidad and Tobago. That in and of itself is another exercise that can certainly bring and improve the confidence of the public in the Trinidad and Tobago police force. And it's a two-way street. In other words, the police have to show themselves to be out there, to be persons who can repose and who can encourage the public to be confident in them. The recent issue where you would have read about certain officers who went against their oath, you would note, sir, that the action of the police was swift and decisive, and without going into details, because those matters are before the courts, you would see that within a week, persons were brought before the court by their colleagues, by their counterparts. I say respectfully that that is a sign, that is a true manifestation that the issue of rogue police officers will not be tolerated, and any such issue will be dealt with in accordance with the law and will be dealt with swiftly. By and large, however, I want to say that the members of the police force, they are right-thinking citizens, but there are those, as with any organization, whose actions will tend to diminish that, whose actions will go counterintuitive to that, and to those officers, they will be dealt with the full brunt of the law.
What about proactive measures, though, to actually rid the TTPS of these rogue officers, rather than for crime to happen by officers that committed, and then for them to be arrested and charged? You have spoken of rogue elements in the TTPS. What are the proactive measures that are in place to try and weed them out of the TTPS?
Well, we know that we have passed in Parliament. We have passed legislation which allows for testing, legislation which allows for lie detectors. These are things these are real plans that can have an impact there's biometric testing. The legislation has been passed in Parliament, and these are practical plans that can reduce the elements of undesirables in the police service, and they're real plans.
Now, in that respect as well, do you think that the TTPS could act as quick as the criminals? The criminals seem to always have an upper hand. Do you think that the TTPS is getting to a point where they will have the upper hand, where they will act as quickly as the criminals are and the criminal elements have been?
Without letting certain plans out of the bag, the answer to that is yes.
Well, Could you expand on that? So
I would not wish to do that at this time, because even with what exists now, there is a drive to have an increased a decreased lapse in time of responses. That's the first thing. Secondly, the purchase of the new vehicles for the police officers. There are over 55 of those now. That will also provide the mobility to the police at various police stations throughout the length of Trinidad and Tobago. That will allow the police to respond in a more timely fashion. The other aspect that you raise, I assure you that there are things in place that will develop an additional ability for the police to respond to certain issues in a more timely and in a more focused manner.
So let me just move forward, given time. In respect to the legislation, do you think there needs to be legislative change or a legislative agenda? Extortion, or the term extortion, does not exist in our law books. And as you referred to it earlier in this conversation, it's demanding by menace.
Yes.
That could have a possible impact on police investigations and even with the charging of criminals. I know 29 reports have been issued.
29 alone. 29 alone.
One individual has been
brought before the courts.
Do you think that part of this is also the need for a legislative change or a legislative agenda?
It is my view that the legislation as it exists now for demanding by menaces is adequate to deal with this issue. What I want to say, though, is at the other end of the spectrum, which is at the sentencing end, and this is what will be done and is being done in order to alleviate this situation. There's to be a training of the police officers, particularly the prosecutors, the police prosecutors, and the police complainants, and especially the members of that special unit that has been established. The penalty, the ultimate penalty at the higher end of the spectrum for demanding by menaces is 15 years. I asked rhetorically, when last have you heard someone getting 15 years for demanding by menaces? We would want a strong enforcement, because I want to focus on the aspect of sentencing, 3 aspects of sentencing. There are 5 principles of sentencing: the rehabilitative, the penal, the preventative, the deterrent as it relates to the actual offender, and the deterrent as it relates to potential offenders. We would want to focus in an issue of sentencing for someone who has been convicted on the deterrent of the actual offender, the deterrent of potential offenders, and also the penal. In other words, it will be a training that sensitizes the officers to that aspect of the submission that says, look, we understand there are other principles, but for this, in order to stem this tide, we would want to emphasize in sentencing before the judicial officer, who, mind you, has the final say, these 3 aspects, and go closer to the 15. And in some circumstances, if the person is a recidivist and if the facts suited, to go for the maximum sentence in those matters. That, in our view, will act as a real deterrent, not just to that offender, but to like-minded persons. And it does not only relate to this, the highfalutin term of extortion. What about persons who, when the normal vendor in any area in Trinidad and Tobago sells an item, sells a box of wings and fries for $25, and someone comes and demands a part of that for whatever reason, that is also, it's called taxing, isn't it? But that is also demanding by menaces. And that squad, that unit is also going to address, once reported, that issue. But as I say to you, and I saw through you to the public, you have to report it first, and you ought to give the unit an opportunity for it to blossom. There's a hotline, and I would like the public, I'm trying to find the hotline as the number because I would like the public to have the hotline where they can test the theory and also make these reports.
The hotline, Minister, 797-3150.
315, yes.
Yeah. I'll repeat that, 797-3150. That's the hotline to report.
The report.
Of extortion.
Yes.
One of the issues, before you joined us this morning, the Mayor of Chaguanas spoke to us, and he expressed a level of frustration that there seems to be a lack of a relationship between the borough and the minister and the Minister of National Security in dealing with this issue in particular. And I'm sure that you've heard of this. Of course, fractured relationships don't help a situation. In fact, it may exacerbate an existing situation. In that particular case, do you care to respond in respect to
yes.
the dissatisfaction?
Yes, I do, and I take issue with it for the following reason. The visit to Chaguanas, and I think that has escaped His Worship the Mayor of Chaguanas entirely, did not happen just like that. My issue of addressing that through the police, that concept of extortion, did not happen overnight. It stemmed from a 10-week intense dialogue with the Chamber of Commerce of Chaguanas. And you would look at and see the last visit, I think it was the PRO, the Vice President of the Chamber, was part of that walk. He was part of that exercise in terms of getting into the district of the borough of Chaguanas. That's the first thing. Secondly, a relationship must not be unrequited. His Worship has reached out, well, not reached, he has said in all sorts of circles, well, I'm not hearing, I feel, but I see it's unrequited, because not once has he reached out to me. I take no issue if the needs be to reach out to him, but he certainly hasn't reached out to me. So I, without questioning the bona fides, it may very well just be a slip, but he has not once reached out. I have done what I had to do. In other words, I have reached out to the constituents and the elements who were considered to be, and that is to be relevant in terms of bringing the information, which is the business people of Chaguanas through the Chamber of Commerce. Is not a legitimate link. Are you seeing the dots connecting? I try to keep the politics out of it, because extortion is not about any party and any politics. Extortion is about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So all of a sudden, after that, this Sunday, there was this full meeting chaired by His Worship the Mayor and others. And he's saying to me, well, you know, you must call me first. I don't know that there is any obligation to do that. But moreover, apart and above from all of that, ask His Worship the Mayor in your next interview as a responsible journalist, have you once reached out to anyone in national security, including Mr. Scotland? Ask him.
Well, I did.
And I have no issue. If the need arises, I have no issue reaching out to His Worship the Mayor. But what I did is I reached out to the chamber, and not in any partisan sense, you know. 3 of these meetings were closed-door meetings where we met. When I looked at my file yesterday, over 400 business people, over 400%. Tell me your experiences. Tell us. At the last meeting, the head of the extortion unit attended and gave out his personal number. So I felt that I did the due diligence required. Now I'm hearing from His Worship the Mayor, well, I feel there's a fractured relationship. Is it a convenient fractured relationship? How does it take one to form a relationship? I thought that it took 2. That is why I say respectfully that I feel it is unrequited. With all the noise in the public, sir, you are responsible journalists. Inquire from His Worship the Mayor. Have you once reached out to Mr. Scotland, to Scotland, call me anything? He has not reached out once to say, well, this is the issue. All I am seeing is public discourse, public discourse. Well, here's what. I am not, and I'm disinclined to engage in that sort of public discourse. Do you know why? No useful purpose will be served by it. If His Worship has an issue that he needs to reach out to me from, I am available, and I am certain he has the resources to have my number.
Do you take his points, though, of the need to focus on specific areas, that the walkabouts of which you attended did not focus on the specific areas that are being impacted or mostly impacted by extortionists? You also made the point of the three police stations in Chaguanas being ill-resourced and ill-equipped to deal with crime as a whole, and that you should have been present. Do you take those points, well from him? Do you accept?
I do not, and I do not by empirical and for empirical reasons. The first point that His Worship got wrong is the fact that the stations, at least one of the stations, was not visited. That is not true. We started at Chaguanas Police Station, and just before, maybe he needs a little edification, that's the police station that is almost obliquely opposite what was the former Chaguanas Magistrates Court. And we started there. There were so many areas that we could have visited on that day. But what I say to His Worship, and I really want this not to be counterproductive, but productive. And what you're doing is engaging me in exactly what I said I don't want to do, which is having a tit-for-tat with His Worship on air. Maybe that is what he wants, but I don't want that. If he wants a meaningful engagement, and there's an issue that needs to be addressed, address me, raise it, make one phone call. I've asked you, so you have skirted it well. Get him back and ask him, have you made one attempt? I have been not once, not twice, not three, but 4 times. I met with the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce with over 400 of its members and gave them an assurance which I followed up on. I did, and I do not think that any useful purpose will be served. Maybe for His Worship it is, but certainly not for me, by engaging in this discourse. Well, you must call me first. Well, tell me the areas. If you know these areas that you say needs the attention of the unit, message me. Send the information, because without the information, we will be operating in a vacuum. So if you have additional information that can be of assistance, I am certain, sir, that the 4 meetings that were held did bear fruit, because information came about, and the police are acting on that information. So, His Worship the Mayor, I issue a public challenge to you. Make contact with me, give the information, and certainly it will be relayed to the police, and action will be gone.
Well, in all fairness to Minister, I did ask the question as to whether or not at any point he has contacted you. And without saying it directly, he indicated that he has not. It seems as though he has not.
Wait, hold on. I don't understand without saying it directly. That is a direct question.
It seems as though that there is a level of frustration associated with reaching out to government ministers. So
seriously, that level of frustration, sir, is not founded in reality. I am very accessible, and I say, if it's with it, how does the frustration come about if you never try to reach out? That frustration is built in. It cannot be on any form of reality. It must be a predisposition to be frustrated. Reach out. And I feel that to show bona fides, His Worship should be forthright. He has not reached out. So I say to him, reach out and see the results.
Well, Minister, as we are nearing the end of this particular conversation, and we hope that all parties involved in this fight certainly will find a common ground to deal with this issue, so that, as you mentioned, it's not counterproductive. And we hope that that common ground is found soon. in respect to the points, the last point that we made before raising the issues of the Mayor of Chaguanas and what is happening in Chaguanas, 29 reports have been made, one individual has been charged, and you stressed the point, only 29 reports. Again,
no, I didn't say only. I'm saying that there's this thing of the rise. I was talking about the comparative because 29 is too much. 20. So if I gave the impression of only, no, I'm saying there is this issue. I'm saying when you look at the comparison, you know, there is 29 is too much. That is what I'm saying.
Well, in
I
that
can say
sense,
only one has been arrested. That is where I can put in an only, because I think that there can be much more and a much more concerted effort. But in arrest, you would know that it's evidence gathering, and that is something that this unit is trained with, and we will have more, and we'll have better results, but we need the reports to be made.
So in getting to that final point and closing this conversation this morning, you have given assurances. You gave assurances when you were sworn into office, and you gave assurances this morning as well. When do you think people will start to experience the results of those assurances that you have given? There is a lot of fear, Minister. We can't hide from that point.
The issue of building confidence and rebuilding trust is something that is going to take some time. I would ask Trinidad and Tobago to look at the efforts that are being made. I am very happy that the visit to Chaguanas and San Fernando has certainly generated a lot of interest, a lot of discussion. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting, and you're seeing the officers. I would hope throughout the length of Trinidad and Tobago, persons are seeing the presence of the police and the defense force. That did not happen by fluke. It did not happen overnight. And just by the establishment of this unit to deal with this issue, I think that Trinidad and Tobago and the business community and private citizens can see that there's an effort to reduce, an effort to stem, an effort to arrest this situation. I would give a warning, however. Sometimes, and social media really can be used negatively to fuel these incidences. It has come to our attention that when persons, for example, lose a pet and they give out a reward, they put a reward out for a pet and leave their numbers, there are unscrupulous elements who don't want to find the pet, but want to make you their pet peeve and then call that number and issue threats demanding by menaces. So the public, you have to be careful about doing that and leaving your number out there, because people use it for nefarious and unintended consequences. Also, the concept of the giving out your information on the social platforms that people give them out on. There are unscrupulous persons who sit there in order to do profiling and use your information in order to make demanding by menaces of you. So you have to be very circumspect, both in those two regards. There are more areas that I would want to tell you about that are encouraging this, but people have, and sometimes also I want the last one, as it relates to your employees, sometimes some things happen internally. Be careful as to the vetting of persons who you allow within your space, because that also can have an adverse effect or can have an effect that is unintended. So be careful of that, lest we fall prey to inside jobs.
Well, Minister, thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you for your time and responding to the points that raised this morning. And we do hope that all the assurances that you have given, that
you are very welcome. And I just want to give the example of me appearing on this program. I think I got a note on Monday, a call on Monday to come, and I'm here. So I'm saying this for His Worship the Mayor of Chaguanas. All it takes is one issue of contact, and I know you would have it, to provide whatever information you have. And I am an open door to assisting and helping in reducing the scourge of extortion, Trinidad and Tobago, and any other crime that you think that is useful information. I do not think respectfully, sir, that a public discourse without us discoursing will serve any useful purpose. I am genuine about Trinidad and Tobago and its citizens, and that has nothing to do with politics.
Very well, sir, and thank you very much for reiterating that final point. All the very best to you in your continued efforts and fight.
Thank you kindly.
Take care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just once more give you that number for the extortion units in the TTPS. It's 797-3150. That's 797-3150. As the Minister has pointed out, as well as the TTPS, it is a direct line that is only accessible by members of the unit. And those members of the TTPS within that unit are highly vested, have gone through training, and I am aware as well that the Minister has spoken of wanting to have an expert, hopefully by the end of November, hopefully to help train police prosecutors in respect to these cases of extortion. So 797-3150 is that number once more. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break here on the program. When we return, we've had our fun this morning. The fun continues with Wild Wednesday. Stay tuned to more on WESN.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus, quality you trust, prices you'll love. Visit one of our locations or find us online to start transforming your home today.
This holiday season, bring the magic of Christmas home with WESN's Joy of Christmas. Relive timeless classics from the laughter to the heartwarming moments that make the season unforgettable.
Hey, 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 like the lamp, not the rat, like the lamp, not the rat!
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh my God!
Oh, poor baby.
Experience the joy of WESN special productions, crafted to bring you new stories and cherished memories. This year, let WESN bring the joy of Christmas to your home.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Catch the spirit, catch the joy.
Anchors away. May the force be with you.
Only on WESN, your content capital.
Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. So, last week, we welcomed Chase. Yeah, Chase the Kobo. Chase the Kobo, I bored to death, and I'm so sorry. Yeah, the black vulture. Sorry, I've been corrected. Yes, we have to stop. You know why? Let me just introduce my good friend alongside me, the founder of the El Socorro Wildlife Center, Mr. Ricardo Mead. Good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you. Good morning to all our folks out there. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It's
Wild Wednesday.
Wild Wednesday. And yes, thank you for correcting me as well, because I know we had that conversation last week about we need to remove this term, Kobo. Yeah. It's black vulture. Call them what they actually are.
It's wrong and it's stigmatized, so let's do the right thing. Let's say the right thing. Let's act the right way. It's a black vulture, and it's an essential part of our ecosystem.
Which is why you're back this morning, because we're continuing the conversations about animals who are crucial to our ecosystem.
Yeah. See, it seems like what the problem here in Trinidad, we have too much. You have too much of something, you don't appreciate it. Okay? You know how your friends come down from Canada and they're stuck on the beach, they don't want to go anywhere else? And for us, like, we'll go on the beach, we'll come back, we'll do this. We have too much. Too many beaches, so many options. Trinidad, Tobago, all about the place. So we don't have the appreciation for it. So people in the cold, they appreciate that. We have so much diversity in Trinidad, we hardly know them.
Yeah.
We don't appreciate them. So our role now is, how do you get, again, someone to love something that they don't know about?
Ah. Education and awareness.
Education is always the key moving forward. So we want to move forward. We want to stop destroying our biodiversity, which is important for all the things that we have here in Trinidad. We don't understand that. So we're going to try to teach people about the animals we have, the wildlife in particular, and their contribution to the ecosystem, and in the end of it all, to human beings and our survival as Trinis.
So the joke is, Ricardo, me, Donna Karim, and Jeremy Beecher, and the rest of the team are all crucial to our ecosystem as well.
Well, yeah, we all are. Even the worst person amongst us, by what they do, causes the rest of us to react in a particular way. Life is all linked. Life is all linked. So we can never separate ourselves thinking that we're an island and we're insular. Everything links up and connects. What happened in Japan many years ago affected us here in Trinidad. What's happening in the US is affecting us here in Trinidad. What happened in Ukraine affected us here in Trinidad because we pay more for doubles. You'd never even think about it that way, but it's all linked. Everything is linked. What happens to the vultures affects the health of people.
Yes.
Everything is
linked. And, you know, I found it very incredible, not to digress too much, but last weekend it was a fact that played on my mind, the link between black vultures, or vultures on a whole, and diseases in Africa. That was most amazing. But also the fact that their stomachs are 99%, I think you said, acid.
Yes, it's powerful. It's powerful stuff.
And this morning, we have another incredible creature that should be joining us in a moment.
Yes, yes, this is one of our favorites. He's been responding really amazingly well to training and gives people a whole new perspective, because people have these, again, negativities. We don't know things, so when someone comes along with wrong stuff, we adopt that, right? They didn't know the name of the black vulture. Someone came along and said, Kobo. Okay, it's a Kobo, and now it's stuck. Look how much hard work we have to do to remove that. Okay, so this bird, it's a bird.
And we're hearing the bird in the back.
We're hearing the bird in the back, and we're going to get ready to bring him on. People say, you know, when this bird is flying, someone is dying. Truth is, people are always dying. This bird has nothing to do with your grandma dying or your great auntie dying. The fact that it flew over the house, nothing to do. It's flying over the house all the time. It's just on this night you're in this contemplative mood, and you might have looked up at the point of the passing or soon after the passing of a relative, and oh my gosh, my aunt died and a bird flew. So anytime that bird flies, and you continue that.
So that it is safe for this bird to fly this morning then.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be only the second time that this has been done on live television in Trinidad and Tobago.
Really?
And I think this time they're just going to do it so amazingly well.
So let's welcome our next guest to the program. Easy, sorry. You can get him.
Right, let's grab him right back
Hold
here.
on 1 second. Just, yeah, just.
Like we said, he's been taking training really well. He knows exactly what to do. So this is a Taito alba. That's a scientific name, big fancy name. Taito alba. It's a barn owl. Say good morning, Guardian.
Good morning. So I'll tell you what. Good morning, my friend. We're going to take a quick break here, ladies and gentlemen, on the program. And when we return, we're going to welcome another handler to the program as we speak to our good friend. He's having fun this morning. When we come back, we're going to have a conversation with Guardian. We'll be right back here on AM Prime. Oh, is he going to... There you go. He's having fun this morning. We're going to have a lot of fun when we come back. We'll be right back. So you're hearing a lot of background noise this morning. That's absolutely fine. It's all part of television, but guess what? Chase is, in fact, there you go. Good morning. This is Guardian. Guardian is a barn owl. Tell us more about barn. By the way, let's welcome also handler Jeremy Bacon. He is a trainer, and he's helping Chase actually be more friendly with us this morning. He can sit here for a while. Tell us a bit more about Guardian in the meantime, and your relationship actually with Guardian.
Well, I would train. I would usually work with all the raptors. I trained Guardian from he was about 3 weeks old, and when I got him, we got him inside someone's roof. He basically was like more like a pest inside of there. The whole roof was stink with decaying rats and stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, they would take away a lot of rats and mice from the environment. They called us to remove him, and well, that's how he's here.
And you've shared this incredible relationship with him actually, because look at how friendly he is. He's so tamed, and he's enjoying being here this morning. He's very excited, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a process we go through with all the raptors. We would train them. We would take a lot of time. Yeah, probably. Yeah. We spend a lot of time with them, feeding, cleaning, and manning. We call it the manning process, where the bird would basically become acclimated to be around humans.
So tell me, Jeremy, why are owls so important to the environment, to our ecosystem?
They would control the population of rats and mice in our ecosystem. So they would eradicate, one owl in one night could probably eat about 6 mice. And imagine a family of about 12, that would be about, let's say about 6 baby owls on a good clutch, and plus the both parents, mother and father. Each of them will eat 6 mice a night.
Wow. So your work is it's with so many animals, and I think he's just having fun. He's exploring this morning. You see, last week, Chase fell asleep. Guardian is just like, no, I'm not doing that tomorrow. Yeah, quite the opposite. And they're nocturnal creatures, aren't they?
Yes. Well, predominantly, when they have to hunt during the day, they will. Once babies are born and they need to support the family, they will keep hunting, so they will hunt 24/7.
Why is it that it's so important? Because as you mentioned at the beginning, there's a certain stigma associated with owls. Owls are just, every time you see an owl pass, there's some that believe that's good luck. You're so lucky to see an owl pass. There's some saying somebody has just either died or somebody's going to die. So this sort of relationship, and even the possibility of doing such interviews, I mean, do you think it's something that needs to be done more often?
Yeah, we need to be familiar with what we have. We need to understand it. There's a black hole within us, and that's like a vacuum. It sucks stuff in. So when ignorance comes around us, that's what it draws in now, and then you become now a conveyor of that ignorance onto someone else.
Yeah.
But if knowledge comes around you, you draw that in, and there's an enlightenment, and it goes from a black hole to a light of understanding, and now you're able to transfer that light of understanding and knowledge to someone else. That's why, like, ideas are illustrated as a light.
Yeah.
Okay, as opposed to a black hole. So it just kind of goes on. So we are attempting through this medium, social media, any medium, to reach people and teach them It's not so at all. And there's so many things that we fear about the night.
Tell us about that sound that Guardian is making. I mean, people think that sound is haunting, but obviously there's a reason.
Yeah, the bird is one, communicating. Food, here I am, bring something to me. Even mating, that's part of their calls. That's their communication. That's like how we speak. Like, why do humans speak all the time? Well, we always want something. It's too hot, it's too cold, I want food. That's their communication, that's their language. And a lot of people don't accept it because it's different from what you expect a bird sound to sound like. You expect it to whistle like a pico plat or quack like a parrot. No, every animal has their own way of communicating, and this is his particular language. Now you'll meet another owl, and we're going to meet other owls, and they have different sounds, different frequencies, you know. So it's not just hoo, hoo, hoo. You know, there's a whole lot of different ones. For example, like the barred owl in America, quite popular. There's actually a competition to see who can do the best call.
Really?
And the call of that owl, it sounds like the bird is saying, who cooks for you? So when they put it together as a bird sound, it goes,
yeah, and that's it. And that's the sound that is
very popular,
very
for the
much
owls.
popular with
right,
owls.
But they are different sounds. They make amazing different sounds. So we have about 8 different owls here in Trinidad, and they're all different.
Wow.
Everybody's different.
Are these the biggest species of owl in Trinidad?
No, there's a larger one. It's actually the largest owl in the neotropics. So all throughout South America, they will not find a larger owl, and that is the spectacled owl. We do not have one with us right now, I mean, at the center, else we would have made a visit sometime soon, but you never know. Things change quite, you know, it's quite dynamic at the center in terms of things coming and going, coming and releasing and stuff like that there. And part of our dynamism, you know, the dynamic aspect of the center is that we train people as well. So we have coming up a raptor training course where people learn how to man the raptors and so on like that. So I'll just get this birdie back here and let Jeremy tell you about the course.
Jeremy, tell us about that course.
All right, so the raptor training course, it's about learning about raptors. You learn about different species of raptors along with a bit of training. We would practice falconry with these birds. Falconry is basically a sport that one of the oldest sports, you know, in the world, and we would.
And you practice that?
Yeah, we practice falconry. All this right here, those things on your feet, they're called jerseys and anklets. All those are from falconry. The process we go through to train the animals as well, the birds, that is based on falconry as well. And that's what we will be touching on in the raptor training course. It will be very in-depth. We will teach you how to make the equipment as well as a little process in training the birds, manning the birds, and you'll get the opportunity to fly the birds as well.
Oh, wow. Owls apex predators?
Yes. Yes, owls, I would say they will be dominating with regards to the rodents. However, they do have predators on a spectacle owl. A spectacle owl will take down a barn owl.
Really?
Yeah.
A spectacle owl will hunt a barn owl?
Yes, along with all hawks. It's like a war between the diurnal raptors and the nocturnal raptors, where the hawks would actively hunt, pursue and hunt and kill and eat the owls.
So what about their beak, for example? Because owls have such a unique beak, how it's covered, how it's shaped. What I appreciate is his face is absolutely like a heart shape, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So tell us about the beaks of the owls. Is that for rodents as well?
Yes, all beaks it's pretty big for their size.
Yeah.
All will literally swallow an entire mice and maybe a small rat, as you can see here.
Wow.
Yeah, they look small because it's covered with feathers, but it's pretty large.
I can see that, and also his eyes are like staring at you, they're pitch black.
Yeah.
And that helps with nocturnal hunting, of
That
course.
is with hunting as well. They have very good eyesight, and they are able to pick up. But they more hunt with sound.
Yeah,
Yeah, the disc face, they would fly over a field and make songs, and would reflect back onto them. They would hunt with sound, listening for the little cracks and little critters crawling in the bushes, and after, when they find a song, they will hover over that spot and dive down into it. If you look at their feet, owls are the only birds, the only owl species, barn owls, are the only ones that is not booted. So they don't have feathers going all the way down to their talons. That is because of when they dive into the fields, those feathers will become ruffled when they're grabbing onto their prey and such. Because of the way they hunt is the reason for that not having those feathers there. Barn owls are the only ones that don't have feathers on their feet.
Owls on a general, barn owls. Or barn owls in particular, wow. Yeah. And you know, as with all birds, you don't really see their ears, but how do they hear? Where does sound go to?
Okay, so the ears are hidden under the feathers. Barn owls in particular, their ears are asymmetric. So one is a bit higher than the other. And that is, we have ears on both sides of our faces, just like the barn owls. And that is to get to determine where the sound is coming from. But a barn owl is asymmetric, one is higher than the other, so they can determine the height and how far away and how the depth as well of the sound. So they can pinpoint sounds very much more accurately than humans.
And tell us about, because I know you mentioned how you met Guardian here. But I mean, Guardian, when you would have met him, was wild. I mean, maybe he was accustomed to humans because of where you found him. But how have you been able to build up such a close-knit relationship? He trusts both you guys so much. Was that very difficult to do?
Yeah, with consistency, with these raptors, everything is possible. So you build this relationship, you learn the animal, and you work within their strengths. So you wouldn't try to, like barn owls will fly in open fields, you wouldn't try to make it fly through a forest area.
Yeah.
So you work into their strengths. So with any raptor, food is the main thing. So as long as you provide them food, they will always love you.
Certainly. Well, Guardian, it's been great meeting you. Thank you for joining us. You were a bit more lively this morning. In fact, if anything, you probably would have woken up all the viewers this morning with our wonderful sound. He's just saying hello. He's just saying goodbye. Mr. Mead, it has been a pleasure once more. Thank you and to the rest of the team. To Jeremy here, who is doing falconry. That is quite amazing. I think that's something that we're going to have to bring the cameras to see sometime.
Yeah, we do a lot because once you have the animals that can be released and become animal ambassadors, we need to be able to utilize them and to give them the opportunity to fly, to hunt, to use their bodies the way they would naturally, so that it keeps their mind focused also.
Is there any difficulties, releasing an animal of which you've just grown so close to?
It's always a bittersweet moment. It's like sending a child off to college in a foreign country. You know it's going to be the best thing for them, but you always worry about the crime rate and if the phone's going to work, if there's going to be an earthquake, or what about a bushfire, there's wildfires in Canada, and there's so many things that go through your mind at that point in time. But you feel the confidence that you would have done your very best to prepare that animal for that moment. So the moment is here. So sweet to go, bitter like there's still a concern, And it has happened where people have released animals and other animals have attacked them and so on. But that's sort of okay, that Mother Nature is taking her toll. The part we fight against is when humans inflict such a heavy toll on the wildlife to the point where we push so many animals to the brink of extinction. So this is what we're trying to stave off by just helping one at a time towards that point.
Which is why all the work that you guys do are absolutely important. But I want to thank you very much, guys, for joining me for another Wild Wednesday. We had Guardian, the barn owl, with us this morning. I think we did a slightly better job today. He didn't fall asleep, so.
Yeah, well, falling asleep is not his thing at all. He wants to fly around, hop around, and find something to eat. So he's really a great ambassador, and the people love him in the interactions out there. So, folks, again, the Raptor training course, you can find us on our social media pages, ECWC_TT, that's the El Socorro Center for Wildlife Conservation _TT. We're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook, we have our website. Reach out to us, and if you can't, just Google Wildlife Rehab in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm sure we will pop up there on your search. So you can reach out to us for whether you have an animal emergency or you'd like to participate in the Raptor training course.
Certainly. Well, gentlemen, thank you guys very much for joining me again this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been AM Prime. Do have a great day ahead. We'll see you. Well, we'll hopefully welcome Mr. Mead, and who knows next week what else he has in store for us. But until tomorrow morning, I'm Keaton Shaw. This has been AM Prime. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
WESN.
This holiday season, bring the magic of Christmas home with WESN's Joy of Christmas. Relive timeless classics from the laughter to the heartwarming moments that make the season unforgettable.
Hey, 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 light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat!
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God!
Oh, baby.
Experience the joy of WESN's special productions, crafted to bring you new stories and cherished memories. This year, let WESN bring the joy of Christmas to your home.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Catch the spirit, catch the joy.
Anchors away. May the force be with you.
Only on WESN, your content capital.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus.